what it does going in. So. All right, everybody, welcome back to 18 Outdoors. We got Mr. Matt Brock back again, and we're gonna talk one of his other favorite things he likes doing, and maybe he likes trying to create habitat for.
That's a fact. Yes.
A wild turkey.
Absolutely.
Okay? And
Gobble,
over
gobble.
the last 10 years, well, that's one, they've been some crazy talk about turkeys.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
Alabama. There's a real deep concern,
Mm-hmm.
but to me, there's not been a lot of good action by the state. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I could get a little bit negative on that, but anyway, Matt, I don't know, you've killed a bunch of turkeys. We've talked about turkey hunting a lot, over the years, and I've only killed 5 or 6 turkeys in my life, because if I turkey hunted like I deer hunted, I wouldn't have this house. I probably wouldn't kill a monster buck. I wouldn't have a wife, because
I tell people all the time, if you're in your 30s, 40s, and you're happily married and you don't turkey hunt, don't start. It's something that your spouse needs to be aware of beforehand.
And I can't get into something that hard like I do deer hunting.
Right.
Which this year my deer hunting, I've lost a lot of days this year. So,
Mm-hmm.
so Alabama over the last say 10 years, it appears the turkey is in decline or something.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong?
Well, that's a good question, because a decline has been occurring over multiple states.
Really?
Yep. Or I'll say this, it is a perceived decline in some areas, and it's actual in others. Turkey populations are cyclical anyway, so they have ups and downs. The biggest thing that turkeys have to have is nest success and poult recruitment. So if you have several years of very poor nest success and poult recruitment, then your turkey populations will take a nosedive. And we've seen that in some places. Now, what's causing it is being researched to death. There's theories out there about various things, but there's no conclusive evidence. And then you take the dominant gobbler theory and throw that out there in a lot of places. The claim that, if you remove the dominant gobbler early in the season, hens are not getting bred, and some gobblers out there, don't have viable sperm. And I don't believe that for 1 minute. I do believe you can overharvest gobblers too early in the season, but as far as removing a gobbler that's more fertile than another, show me the proof.
Yeah, well, surely there'd be some kind of research to prove that on.
Gobbler dominance changes every minute. I mean, a gobbler that's dominant right now may not be 5 minutes from now when another one comes in. So
one of my biggest things, and we just started the game check stuff here lately, but before the game check, in Alabama, you had no idea what hunters were hunting or an animal,
right.
And turkey was one of them. So you didn't know what they were killing, and turkey hunting has got boomed in popularity over the last so many years too. So,
yeah.
And out of state people coming in because our season opened earlier than most other states, and we got a crazy liberal limit to meat.
Yeah.
And I've reduced it a little bit, but we'll talk about it a little bit. I think I could do a little bit better on that. But now you're supposed to be checking them, so they're kind of knowing what's getting killed. But to me, they don't know what would be the big deal about all these other, pretty much all other states do this. They sell a turkey license or a turkey tag. That way they know exactly how many people they got turkey hunting.
Right.
So that could be one thing to talk about, to kind of get more information, because we don't really know. We're supposed to be getting information now with the game check, so that could be helping. But another thing, is the predator stuff, habitat.
Yep.
So is it a combination of both?
Predator. So if you look at the history of the United States, trapping has a very rich history here.
Yes.
And when fur prices tanked years ago, a lot of people got out of trapping. Yeah. And now you really only have recreational trappers. People are not trapping now to make a living or make money. They're trapping because they are interested in having more turkeys, or they have a neighbor that says, "Hey, I'd like to get rid of some raccoons. Can you help me do that?" Sure.
Yeah. And one thing about the turkey is, it's either, deer is nocturnal, and a turkey's a daytime animal, and he's got so many predators.
Oh, everything.
I mean, everything's after a turkey egg or a turkey.
Yeah, everything.
Hogs, eagles, skunks, possums, muskrat, or not muskrat, but minks, fox, coyotes, a variety of things. And now I've heard a thing about fire ants.
I was
you know,
gonna say,
it's been issues
everything
too.
in the woods from a fire ant on up is after a turkey or a turkey egg, so.
And and so there's things that we can do
Mm-hmm.
to that. Now what about the limit? Why is Alabama's limit is so much more than anybody else's?
Look, I don't have a problem with the limit. I don't.
But you're a big turkey hunter.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
what about, but the non-residents, cause they could change that.
they could, and see, so a lot of states have actually changed what non-residents can do. And they've gone to either draw systems or
Right.
limited tags, like Nebraska last year, and they're doing the same thing this year. They only have so many, tags that they'll sell. So, and it's first come, first served. You can buy up to 2, call, get your tag or 2 if you want to, but when they sell out, they're done.
Right.
Kansas this year is going to a draw system, and it is gonna be 1 bird only. It's, it's not hardly worth the drive to go out there to take a turkey, to
Well,
me,
if you're a
but
serious turkey hunter.
I know, but it's
To me.
still, yeah, I know it. So, one thing that I think Alabama has prided itself on, or I think we've done a good job of, is having, and I'll say this, I think liberal bag limits has created a culture of wanting to manage property. If I can kill 4 of something, I want to take care of it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I feel like if we did lower that bag limit to 2 or 3 birds, I think a lot of people are going to get to the point where, all this habitat work I'm doing for turkeys is not worth it. If I can only kill a bird or 2, I'm not going to fool with it no more. I'll just kill what I have and not worry with really impacting turkey populations. And ultimately, I don't think that removing gobblers from the population is having that much of an impact on the population as a whole. Now, in most cases, there's always exceptions. And I do believe that a lot of the problems that the Midwest has seen in some of the Central Plains states in the reduction of their deer or their turkey populations is a product of too much pressure on that population and overharvest of gobblers. Because if you look at the pressure that they've received from out-of-state hunters alone over the last few years, it's phenomenal. And the reason that has happened is because of the publicity that it has received on, there's a lot of people out there. Look, when I went out there turkey hunting, I took my son out to Kansas, Nebraska, and Wyoming. And while we were out there, I saw more people hunting public land with video cameras in groups than I did single people just out there trying to kill a bird. And I just don't think that, that's been a good thing for turkeys.
Well, what about, my dad and them turkey hunted years ago, and the environment or the people that he turkey hunted with and the people I was kind of around, they had a whole different strategy about turkey hunting or a ethic or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
They would not shoot a jake, would not shoot a turkey that was not strutting.
Right.
They like, if you don't let him strut, you're a sinner.
That's right.
So now, to me, they pushing all the deer management thing, but
Right.
turkey. What's wrong with you can shoot jakes, So
Yeah.
what could there be a management thing? Like no jakes.
Some states
gobblers,
like that. Some
you know,
states have to have a 6-inch beard.
6-inch beard,
Yeah, right,
whatever.
right.
How come we're not pushing a management strategy like that on turkeys that we are?
Well, Alabama has always had a thriving turkey population, or in the last few decades anyway, we've had a thriving turkey population and really few hunters on the landscape. But that's all changing.
Yeah.
There are so many turkey hunters out there. A few years ago, and I've got several different properties that I have permission to turkey hunt on in 2 or 3 county area back where I live in Northwest Alabama. And 2 years ago, I did not go hunt a single morning the entire season where I was the only person calling to a turkey. And that was on private ground where nobody else should be. So I was having to contend with not only predators and poor habitat management, but trespassers and poachers as well. So, I think a lot of that comes with the popularity that turkey hunting has gained in the last few years.
Now, one of the issues I have, being I'm a public land hunter, is why in the world we got specific crazy rules for public land versus
Mhm.
private land.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, you can only shoot one in first 10 days or something
Right.
on mammoth deer, and you only shoot 2 per mammoth deer or
Well,
something.
that's
So,
a result of this pushing of the dominant gobbler theory. So,
but our public land is so minimum
Yeah.
compared to the
right,
private land.
Right.
I mean,
um,
why don't want to do the same rules with the private?
right. Well, and that, one, I think that they're trying to protect the integrity of the public lands, giving people a quality hunt, if that makes any sense. If you're only allowed to kill a bird the first few days, then some people are going out there and kill a bird, they're going to the house, at least for a few more days so they can come kill the second bird. But, I honestly, some of the decisions that have been made from our state agency in regards to turkey and deer management over the last few years has not really made a lot of sense to me.
I know, I heard some talk about they've done this big, spent several, I almost say $millions on a big study around the Okmulgee area.
Well, yeah, so you had Okmulgee, and I think Bankhead may have been involved, and Skyline. And they were gonna move the seasons back and see how that affected turkey populations over a multi-year period to see if that would be something they'd wanna implement statewide.
Yeah.
And I still think they're kinda in the trial stages of that, which if Bankhead or Black Warrior, their season has always opened up later. It's had an April the 1st opener. What is it now? I don't even know. I haven't checked the
It's a
regulations.
little bit later in April 5th, 8th or something. They
Right,
call
well,
it
say,
May 8th.
statewide it's moved to March 25th, which I don't agree with at all for South. It's summertime in South Alabama, March 25th, literally. I mean, the climate is so much different down there and things are greening up so much earlier.
Yeah, you hear talk about turkeys be breeding in March.
Yeah.
Or February. So
I mean, I've seen turkeys breed from February on through May, June, but I mean, they really have an extended period of time where they will breed.
Yeah. Somebody was telling me on that big survey and stuff that they spent like money on that the actual results or recommendations that they put out was kind of like shunned away.
Mhm.
Is that true?
That's pretty well true of anything that state biologists recommend.
So, and that's one of the, I was going to bring that up about some deer stuff is that we got a committee,
Yeah,
they're not, none of them's a biologist, don't reckon of.
well, at one time I was on the turkey committee years ago, and it was, you had state biologists, you had researchers from Auburn University, and then you had,
What about this, the committee that kind of, they recommend the rules and then the governor signs off
you
on
talking
it?
about the CAB, the Conservation
Yeah,
Advisory Board?
them advisory board.
Yeah, the
that-
Conservation
that-
Advisory Board, yeah, they're not
that's a-
biologists. Yeah,
That's
they're
how
they're
they shoot
appointed.
down, they shoot down a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
that people think that money's involved or whatever. I don't know why, but it's kind of odd that some of that stuff that they propose come from no data,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, well, then that was my frustration with working for the state, was doing my job as a biologist and presenting information and then it going nowhere. I got frustrated with that because I just felt like what I was doing was meaningless. If what I was fighting hard for was being shot down, then why am I doing it? But I mean, hey, that's just, some people can handle that. I couldn't. I'm not the person for that.
Yeah. And then, for a long time, we couldn't use decoys.
Right.
Then enough pressure from certain individuals, whatever,
Yep.
decoys got made into rules.
Mhm.
And now now you can't
Pushed
use
them back first 10 days.
first 10 days or whatever. It's just, you gotta really read the rules where you at. And to me, it could've been made separate, say,
Right.
statewide, these dates, or maybe zone it a little bit on the dates,
Mm-hmm.
and carry everybody, drop a bird back, and do the non-residents, drop them back a bird or 2 birds or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but and try to, do something. Doing it earlier is better than doing it later, to me.
Mm-hmm.
Making a change until you can figure out exactly what's going
Right.
on, maybe, but I don't know. It's just that thing is drug out way too long to me on any kind of tactics or strategy or whatever of what we need to do.
Well, and here's the deal with both deer and turkey. I don't think you're going to change a whole lot in this state without education.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can impose all the rules you want and try to justify it any way you want to. If you're not educating the hunters or the public on proper habitat management and, why we have the regulations the way that we do, I don't think you're going to get anywhere, really.
And the state's kind of handcuffed on what private land doing as far as turkey habitat?
Right, yeah,
Or they
you
got
can't
timber
make
company,
people,
I mean,
yeah, you can't
right,
make
so-
people manage habitat a certain way, but what you can do is put the resources out there to help them understand, this is why we manage turkeys the way we do, this is why we do prescribed fires, this is why we do them at certain times of the year.
That fire thing is a big conversation,
Oh,
with a
yeah,
lot of people.
absolutely.
And personally, I think that's one of the best things to do. Now, sometimes I think
Mhm.
they do it a little bit too late, because I've seen certain animals, terrapins and snails and stuff, where they're already coming out and they do burn, and they get burned up, so it's affecting other animals.
Mhm.
Well, they might be able to roll it back a little bit before some of that
Mhm.
stuff gets out, and you got, even now, I've noticed some animators are doing it during deer season in places.
Right.
Because,
And it really, like on private land, when I'm working with a client, it depends on what their objectives are. If turkeys are a primary concern, we may burn, certain tracts for certain reasons, but we may burn up until peak nesting, hold off for a few weeks, and then resume burning after peak nesting. Because, summer burns, early summer burns are tremendously helpful for whitetail deer. You take all that succulent spring growth, and once it reaches maturity, it's not as palatable.
Mhm.
So if you can kill it back and let it resprout during June, July, it's just like planting another food plot in spring again. So it really adds food to the table. And turkeys, regardless of the timing, they will come to a prescribed burn like the first 120 days. They're going to be in it. Doesn't matter what time of year you do it.
So it's kind of hard on your management thing about turkeys and deer. You kind of have a fine line of what you can do at certain times to.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
it
for
just depends
both.
on, it depends on what the stand is, whether it's hardwood, pine, mixed pine, hardwood, what the basal area is, how much sunlight's reaching the ground. There's all kind of things can go into why you burn at certain times of the year. And like I said, the landowner's objectives, are you primarily managing for deer or turkey or both? And that affects when I decide to burn.
So what do you think we can do to help? I mean, what
I think-
what can I do? I'm a public land hunter. What can I do?
The public land hunters,
'Cause I don't hurt them anyway. I ain't killed turkey. I ain't killed turkey in 5-6 years, I think. So.
right.
And the last one I killed was a Jake. So shoot me now.
Yeah, there you go. Right. You got to practice what you preach, don't you?
Yeah. So shoot me now. So, but,
Hey, I've killed a couple jakes over the years. Sometimes it just happens. So with public land hunters, that's a different arena than where I'm typically at. Because most of my customers, I'm dealing with private.
one of my biggest thing is I'm very limited what I can do. I can
Yes.
throw some money somewhere or something, but I don't know where
Right.
it's going.
And like the National Wild Turkey Federation, they do a lot of funding certain projects throughout the state, and a lot of them, majority of them, are on public lands. They're their Superfund projects. So assisting the National Wild Turkey Federation, that money typically goes into projects in state. The biologists, they put in requests for certain types of equipment or certain projects, and that's a really good cause. Superfund projects. Talk to your local biologist, find out what they're doing for turkeys on those areas, maybe make some recommendations. But now I will say this also, ownership of that WMA has a lot to do with what they're able to do. So the state agency, they can't manage Forest Service land like they want to, because it's owned and managed by the Forest Service.
Right.
The only complaint I really have on the Forest Service, and this has been discussed a lot, their primary concern is not wildlife habitat. They're wanting fuel reduction to reduce the likelihood of catastrophic wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
So they have certain quotas that they have to reach every year on burning. Well, sometimes they burn large blocks of land.
Mm-hmm.
For turkey management, it's best if you have a mosaic of burned areas. So, if you have a 500 acre property, as a turkey manager, I don't want to burn all 500 acres at one time.
Right.
I want to burn 40 acres here, 60 acres here, 100 acres over here, and kind of scatter that out. Give them diversity at different times of the year. But now the Forest Service has got certain areas they got to burn every year. So when they have the opportunity to do that, that's what they're going to do.
Now that's generally, you said every year, is that generally, do they do that 3-year rotation, or is that, you're talking about every year?
Well, they're burning something every year.
Every year, okay.
Yeah. And even on private lands, that's what I try to do. I'm not going to burn the same area every year, but I do try to burn something
Right.
every single year.
Yeah, that's a
But
good
yeah,
point.
they're typically on about a 3-year rotation.
So, and another thing that's that I've noticed and have been involved with and been to a few is these get-togethers they have, you know, where they donate and you're buying tickets and you're building up donations for these projects. You know, I
The
recommend
NWTF
doing
banquets
that.
and
Yeah, them
stuff, yeah.
banquets
Mhm.
and you know, you got Ducks Unlimited doing the same thing, and there's starting to be some deer stuff that's similar. So, you know, we can do that. You know, like you said, the super fun stuff, get money going towards some of that stuff for better things. You know, and like you say, like the trapping thing, if you can trap now, one of the good things the state has done this year, I noticed on your map permits, if you're hunting, you can shoot any kind of nest predator.
That's right.
So, as long as it's during that season, you know.
Yeah.
So that they've never done that before.
And if you're a
Besides
trapper,
coyotes or fox.
if you're a trapper and you enjoy trapping, why not trap on some of these WMAs? The opportunity's there. They give you the season. All you have to do is get the permit and go trap. So, I mean, if you want to make an impact on public lands, go trap.
Yeah, I used to go trap during February after the season, but since they extended the season, it was kind of hard. I've been going somewhere hunting generally, but I
Yeah.
love trapping. You know, everybody knows I grew up doing that. You know, that's one. If you don't trap, I'm telling you, you can get into that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's addictive because it's
Very.
a challenge. You know,
Yep.
trying to make something put its foot on a 1-inch piece of steel and 100,000 acres or wherever it is
Right.
you're trapping at.
It's fun.
It's
I mean,
fun.
it's
It's a
really
challenge.
fun. Yep.
You know, and them coyotes and them suckers right there are one of the hardest things are to trap. So
Oh, yeah.
them suckers smart. So, but and I
Mhm.
remember back when we didn't even have none of them things. You know,
Mhm.
so, but anyway, turkey season's gonna be here
Soon.
quick soon.
I'm
so-
already thinking about turkeys. I'm not even thinking about deer right now. I wish deer season was over.
So we're recording still in deer season. I might not let it, you know, now it might be March or well, it'll be before turkey season, but you know, I'm getting everybody fired up for it. But
That's right.
it's you know, and I'm looking for it too. I go some, but the main reason I go turkey hunting is I get going to scouting. You know,
Mhm.
I maybe look for sheds or whatever. But I
Mhm.
like turkey hunting. I love hearing them gobble. You
Yeah.
know, I wish I could hear them gobble good out of this ear, because I can't. You know, it's just kind of hard to pinpoint them in them hills. But for me, so
Right.
I'm going to find me a good buddy to go turkey hunting with, somebody can hear.
Well, I'll tell you, I can take you.
But anyway, you know, if you got concerns about the turkey, if you, you know, talk to your biologist, you know, write somebody, talk to the state. You know, we're fixing to have all kind of expos coming up that you
Yep.
can go to, see these people, you know, complain, gripe, you know, because we want these animals for our future, you know, for the kids, grandkids, all that, you know, we got to figure out why, you know. We done a podcast earlier about the deer stuff, some of the disease stuff we're about. We've got to do our best, you know, to take care of this, because we as hunters
Mhm.
are conservationists. You know, we take care of this stuff. All the anti stuff, all that money they're throwing into advertisement trying to stop us from hunting. They're not putting that money anywhere to help things. Most of them ain't.
That's
You
a
know.
fact.
So anyway, we have to take care of it. You know, we're the ones that brought everything back to where they are now, and some of it's better than it was a long time ago. Some of it's better than when the Native Americans were here. You know, we argued by some, but some of it we know is. You know, that's proven. So
Mhm.
anyway, we're getting ready for turkey season. You know, again, if y'all got any complaints,
Right.
I
Hey,
don't
look,
know.
put them in writing.
Yeah.
You know, you can write or you can email the CAB, the Conservation Advisory Board. You can look up who your member is that represents your area. You know, write the Department of Wildlife.
but we've got to do something a little bit better. And it's on everybody. You know, that's one guy talked to. He said everybody's got to do their own part, and that's basically true. So
Mhm.
no matter what you're hunting, private or public. So appreciate you again, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoyed it.
We're fit to be turkey hunting. Can you do a call right now?
No. Not on my mouth.
No, with the map.
I use diaphragm call. I ain't making a fool of myself on I ain't doing it.
A hoot owl? Huh?
I can do that.
Do a hoot owl. Hey. I thought I heard one dog. Hey, we'll see y'all. Like, share, subscribe. Check out Matt's channel. Give you
Yep.
another hit on it.
Southern U.
Southern U.
Yep.
Hey, we'll see y'all. Good luck. Thank y'all for watching this video. Hey, we appreciate y'all's support. Hey, if you don't care, if you haven't got a book yet, Amazon, get a book. We got hard copies now available. It took me a while to get them, but hey, they're on there now. Again, we appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's hard work that helped us to get this done, you know, lifetime achievement. So anyway, you can get one. And thanks again for y'all's support. Subscribe, like, tell your friends, and we'll keep coming up with these videos. So we'll see y'all on the next one.